Started sucking my gut a little bit. I'm I don't even drink coffee, but this is like Amazon sent me this thing by mistake. It's like this cappuccino thing,
Oh,
K-cup.
nice.
Really good.
Cool. Drinking yellow drink. Electrolytes.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, whatever that is. All right.
Chemical stuff.
My name is. All right, so let's start this party. My name is Nayan. I'm with the NRIs, and this is our monthly 2021 YouTube channel show called Both Sides Now. If you haven't seen the first episode, I highly recommend you going online, checking it out. It was Janelle Dalia, and her song Lucky One is what we kind of looked at that point. And it was an interesting first episode. I pronounced her name wrong. I got the song wrong. So I made it a little easier for episode 2 with somebody I know very well, I've toured with, has a very easy name. This is Finley Martin, and we know each other for a long time. He's married to a friend of mine from high school. We toured with a band called Gist. We started a little label a long time ago and went through Canada, America, all kinds of cool stuff. And
all of North America together.
I know. So we are going to talk about his project, kind of like mine, where we do instead of using our names, we use another thing. Mine's the NRIs because my name is very difficult to pronounce. And Finley will get into why you are now called, for your side project, what's it called?
Pluto's not a planet.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about that and kind of just a little bit about yourself.
Pluto's not a planet. It's kind of just my mechanism for recording all this solo material that I've built up over the last several years. I've been playing in lots and lots of bands over the last 20 years since I've been here. Just and my band Oppo and this pop band called Ragnapop and a jazz band called Groove Jet, and I've just been playing with a whole bunch of bands, and this was kind of my vehicle for my own stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember when we were doing Just stuff, all the stuff was written on acoustic guitar. And I remember Mark Jenkins from the Washington Post one time saying in one of the articles, like, it's very folk stylings and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then I had all of this stuff also. And that's kind of how the NRI started up. It started up as the NRI. Then as I added like 7 other members, I just added the S and we were good to go.
Yeah.
So you've got a new track. It's not really new anymore, but it's kind of like end of the year you did right during election time. Can you like just introduce it, and then I'll probably just get you to play it. You're all ready to rock right now. So we'll just
sure.
Yep.
No, the song's called Lie to Me. Strange enough, it's actually a song that I started back in June of 2016. So it's kind of pre-election. Most of the lyrics and the song structure was actually all kind of set up prior to the election, but it was kind of the election stuff was going on. I was reading this book called The Sixth Extinction, which was talking about like runaway greenhouse effects and all this happy fun stuff.
Well, that's awesome.
And that kind of had an influence on the song too, on the song as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to have you perform it real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Right.
Lie to me, tell me just how much you love me. Tell me how you gonna make it alright. Hold me close, honey, hang on tight. Lie to me, it's so easy, just you wait and see. Say you'll make it great, but I believe as it once was, it can always be. There'll always be a future for you and me. Yeah, the future that we've always dreamed. Take my hand and I'll be true to you, as long as the sky is blue. Shelter me from what they call reality. If it's too complicated, make it easy. Unchain me from responsibility. Lie to me, tell me stories of the golden age, how the kids just don't get it today. The music was so much better back in the day. There's a world when nostalgia reigns supreme, a future it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. The facts don't matter as much as how I feel, and you know how to make me feel. Burden me, tell me that it won't be my fault, that my hand in no way plays a part, that there'll always be someone else to blame, that there's nothing we could do anyway. Anyway, there's a future for you and me. Down the path through the garden, I'll pick the flowers. I'll whisper sweet nothings in your ear. Bouquets of bluebells and patience daffodils. We'll sleep under pale skies of green and drink from glassy purple seas.
Okay, maybe we won't do that. We won't do that thing. We'll do this one. All right, we're back.
I can go into some big feedback thing. Loop it.
All right, we're back with Finley from Pluto's Not a Planet, and thanks for performing that. It's really interesting that you said that you started that song in 2016, which is similar to the song that with the NRIs track we'll talk about later, called Your Time. There's a similar situation where I started it the day after Hillary Rodham Clinton lost, and then finished it just recently. So that's pretty cool. So I really I dig the song. It's really amazing. You know, we're gonna get into like the songwriting aspect, not just like of the lyrics and the music, but also I kind of want to ask you, you know, the recording, because a lot of this is done by you, correct? Are you engineering it and recording everything?
I recorded everything.
And is that what was that at, oh wow, is that at home? Did you do any tracking like anywhere else?
No, I did all the tracking at home. I mixed the track over at Q Recording over in Falls Church.
Cool, man. And so, you know, I like the acoustic tone. I told you this before when we were talking about getting you on. Can you maybe tell us a little bit of how you got the tone? Was it just a simple good guitar, good strings, or what was the tone you got?
Good guitar, good strings. I was messing around with a lot of open tuning, so the whole thing is in open G.
Ah, okay.
So it's just, you know, I write a lot of my stuff on acoustic. It's rare when I actually kind of pick up an electric, partly because, you know, there's other people in the house, especially kids. This last year or so. So, so there's no plugging in amps and just kind of letting it rip.
I just gave my amps to somebody to use, and I don't even know if they're coming back. I'm like, I don't really need them. I haven't used them, so totally understand. Well, that's great. So did you DI it, or did you mic it, or did you do both?
I mic'd the acoustic guitar. Generally don't like the sound of the DI acoustic guitar. I've got mics, so I just mic'd it. I used a couple of R121s and just kind of did a stereo recording on it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, that's good. I was thinking you might have mixed both a direct and a mic'd up sound, but that's cool to hear. It was just the straight mic'd up sound.
Yeah, just kind of cranked up the gain so it's a little bit more edgy.
Okay, so we talked about this being an election release. It actually says like election mix on the track. So why was it important for you to release it around this election?
Well, I mean, I think the song was kind of speaking to a lot of the stuff that's been going on over the last like 4 or 5 years. So this was kind of just, you know, it was a song that, like I said, it started back in like 2016 in June. It's like the election was coming up, and I needed a deadline. I needed to finish it. This was like, you know, of all songs, this was one that I wanted done before the election.
Deadlines are very good. That's kind of what we're doing right now with this song a month thing. We're like, it's crazy undertaking, but it's like a deadline. So we're always like, okay, we got to get this done. We got to get this done. And with us, it's 8 people in the band. You know, we have like 8 people in the band. I don't know how many kids each person has. It's a lot of coordinating. That's great, man. So was there a different release? Is there a reason you called it Election Mix, or was there another release?
Well, no, I think at some point when I actually put this out as a proper album with the other tracks that I'm working on, I'll probably like kind of rearrange and kind of strip out some of the more overtly political stuff. So it's kind of just
cool. Okay,
you know,
that makes sense.
Like the whole end of the song with all of like the talking and stuff was field recordings that I took when I was down at the inauguration.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. So that was from the 2017 then inauguration, some of that stuff?
Yeah, I go down to all the inaugurations, all the protests.
Nice.
I like documenting it. I usually take photos and like field recordings, and then that one just it had some undertones that spoke directly to what I was talking about in the song, so it seemed like a natural fit.
Cool, man. So what do you use to field record out there?
I had a little MP3 recorder.
Oh yeah, yeah, cool.
And then that eventually, I think the batteries corroded. It broke after like 10 years. So I just started using my phone, which isn't quite as convenient, but it does the trick.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. I was like, it definitely sounded like a field recording, but I was trying to figure out what you use. That's cool, man. I mean, like the track is interesting because the refrain is like repeated so much, the lie to me refrain. I've been like listening to it a lot to get ready for our talk, and I was like, I'm just like waking up like, lie to me. I'm like, it's been like in my head. And it's interesting, it's just an interesting take. One of my favorite lyrics was the facts don't matter as much as how I feel, and you know how to make me feel, which is like, it's interesting. You're actually taking the persona of somebody saying like, I want you to lie to me, because it's almost like that is happening.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a self-reinforcement of your own beliefs, and thoughts, and which seems fairly prevalent today.
It is quite amazing. It is amazing that like the facts don't really matter.
No.
It doesn't really, and you can, there's so many ways to make there's avert people who are just making stuff up, I'm not gonna say anything like Fox News, but even like I'll watch documentaries, and I love watching documentaries, and it's incredible. They're not really documentaries anymore. They're more like one person's view. It doesn't I'm gonna give me a second. I'm gonna adjust my mic here. But yeah, I think that was a really cool take you did for the song, because this last 4 or 5 years you have seen that. Sometimes you're just like, that's wrong, right? That's not real. But when 70 million people can be okay with the lie, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's frustrating.
Frustrating. Totally. Tell me more about the lyrics and how you kind of came up on it, because I do like the fact that to me in the song, it took me a second to figure out, but you're the person who wants to be lied to in the song. So just give me a little bit of that perspective, and like kind of how you got to that place.
Well, the song's actually, if you look at the verse and the chorus, the verse is taken from that person's perspective, and the chorus is actually kind of taken from the person that's leading people down this path's perspective. So it's kind of a conversation between the two.
Cool.
Wooing or something.
So with you, a lot of songwriters, the easy question on these podcasts and these channels are, lyrics or music first. What do you kind of, in this instance, what happened in this one?
I'm pretty sure it was the music first, though I think the lie to me thing was kind of in the back of my head. So that line was always kind of there, and then just kind of noodling around on guitar, and it was the riff comes, and then the lyrics just kind of came flooding out on this track, at least.
Cool, man. Yeah. That's great. I'll have to re-listen to the song and look at the lyrics from that perspective, because I definitely I kind of got a hint of that, but I wasn't sure that's kind of what you were trying to do. Well, it's great, man. Like I said, it's a killer song, and it's cool that you did it all at home, and it just shows you. Like,
I didn't have much of a choice. I was allowed to sneak into the studio, to a proper studio, to mix things, but other than that, like everyone else, who would just kind of staying at home.
That's great, man. All right, so I always like to ask this question about like there's always like who's your influence and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to do it on this kind of particular show, talk about the songs themselves and kind of the inspiration, a little bit about how you're playing them, the chord progressions, all that cool stuff. That's fun to me. And then for this one, were there any songs, actual songs that kind of spoke to you, that you kind of either instrumentation wise, mix wise, lyrics wise, anything that you can think of?
Yeah, there was. I think it's funny because when you kind of sent me this question earlier to think about, I actually had to go back to 2016 and realize what I had been downloading and listening to.
That's great.
It's all, we've got a small child here, so
Yeah.
it's everything's a bit of a blur the last few years anyways.
Oh, yeah.
So but as far as influences, I think I was listening to a lot of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, like that Avatar Blues tour.
Yeah.
I think it's called, but Red Right Hand was like kind of a big influence on that, as far as like, him taking on that persona of, that
I was just
told
thinking
as a
about.
cult leader, kind of like nefarious kind of person.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him because I was thinking about that record. I think it's called Skeleton Key. That one,
Yeah.
yeah, which is awesome. Also, well, great. Anything? I mean, any particular song off the Cave that you can think of?
I think Red Right Hand was probably
Good.
one of them. I think Cult of Personality, Living Color was another one.
Right, with the field recordings and all the other like samples and cool stuff.
Yeah, and then Do the Strand, actually, Roxy Music,
Yes.
which I think is the album you gave me. That was one of the Christmas albums.
For those of you who don't know, because Finley and I know each other for many, many years, we do this thing. Well, I do this thing every Christmas. Is when all of our friends I pick one artist and pick a record for each person. So 3 years ago was Roxy Music, and I've done this for like, I don't know, 15 years now, I think, or something.
Yeah,
something crazy like that. So every year there's a new artist. This past year was Santana, and
which I'm actually really digging.
Nice. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, good, man. Like I said, folks, we're gonna have links on the bottom on Finley's performance. We're gonna have links to where the song is online. We highly recommend you support artists. I was looking at a friend who sent me a little meme or picture of how much money we make off these things online. It's pretty baffling that it's like, I think Amazon pays the most for every stream. We notice it's 1 cent. So this and I know the equipment behind you, the guitar, all that stuff, it's expensive. It costs time, it costs money. And, I highly recommend just going on Bandcamp. That seems to be a great place that musicians are using and a great resource. They've been fantastic this pandemic by having, the Fridays where they don't even take a cut for artists, which is just absolutely amazing. So I highly recommend Bandcamp. And if it is streaming online, grab it from there. Anything you can. Those donations really help us get by. We're going to have, like I said, links to the old episode too. So check out Janelle's performance also, which was amazing. All right. So we're going to flip the script a little bit. And you're going to start asking me questions. The NRIs have been doing this crazy thing this 2021 where we just are releasing one song a month. We did record 7 of them on like in a 2-day span over at Vodka. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, with Ben Green, which was an amazing experience. We had a really small edition of the band, all separated, recorded, and then we've been tracking everything else with our bass player Eddie Fuentes at Crescendo Studios, which has been just a godsend and lucky that we have. And we've been, because of the pandemic, we haven't rehearsed. We're just all coming in separately. So this month's release was called Your Time. And I really, like I said, I wanted to have you on this particular song because that election mix was great to hear. And that's kind of, I didn't even know you wrote this in 2016. That's crazy. That's like, that's cool because that's exactly when I wrote Your Time. And so it's really great. And then, we finished
there's a lot of stuff going on that year.
Yeah. We finished it right around, I finished the lyric. I changed the lyrics right after we were in the studio just recently to finish the vocal tracking. So really cool. I'm going to grab my guitar and I'll do a quick performance of the song. No, I'm gonna walk over. So take me to a place filled with madness, a place of question and darkness. Moments of solace bring me cheer. Time never brings hope, only fear. All you can do is wait for it. Let your light shine on. Wait your time will. It's so easy to despair, so fleeting. A forgetful glimpse that feels like cheating. A place of question, a place of age. More words for just another page. All you can do is wait for it. Let your light shine on. Wait for it, your time will. Time will come. Your time has 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 come. All right, I'm back. That was Your Time. Also available to stream, all the places you go to do it, but definitely check it out on Bandcamp. So Finley, I'm gonna give the mic over to you.
Okay. So what were your influences on that song?
So that's an interesting, like I said, it's.
I mean, obviously the election, but were there some musical influences?
So it's funny, like I write, we were talking about these lyrics between music, what do you write first? I always have like a book. You've seen the book. It's like just pages of lyrics and stuff and edited. And, it's interesting. This song was written that morning after, and I wrote like three songs that morning. Me and my kids and my wife went to go see the Trolls movie because I couldn't handle the 2016 election. And then I was like walking out of the, I think Tyson's Corner, looking at the TV, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't look very good. And then I just went to bed. I was like, I already knew what happened, kind of. And then I woke up in the morning and I was just like, picked up the guitar and just started writing like 2 or 3 songs, that was one of them. And it was kind of a rainy morning. I remember like that was one of the verses that came out and some of the music. It's an interesting tune because it's I didn't realize it at the time, but it starts in 5/4, so, which is kind of like one of the influences was probably then one of our songs, which is Asunder, which starts in 5/4 also.
Yeah,
off of
I love the alternate time signatures. Yes. I think they're just so much fun.
I'm so dumb about it though that I had put a demo version of it on GarageBand, and it's like you just pick a drum sequence and you just hit play. I don't have time and I don't really care about trying to sequence the 5/4 and all that, so I just hit play. Found a drum beat I kind of liked and demoed it. And I'm like, God, it's kind of cool. It phases in and out a little bit. And then I was at rehearsal and somebody's like, it's in 5/4. That's why it's doing that. I'm like, oh, yes.
Well, that's the sign of a cool song when you can't even tell that it's an alternate time signature. You're just tapping along and you don't even notice it.
It's so bad. So it was hilarious. And then, so that's kind of one of the influences on the song. And, I didn't realize some of the lyrics would kind of work out like they did, kind of the first line is take me to a place filled with madness, or something, and I kind of didn't realize it was going to I didn't realize it was going to be that bad for the last 4 years, but it was,
We're prophets. We're modern day prophets,
So
So actually, you could see some of this coming. I mean,
yeah, it was like, take me to a place filled with madness, a place of question and darkness. I was like, wow, okay, that was interesting. So, really the genesis of a song, and it's interesting because this is International Women's Month, and I think I was so not surprised, like, I just couldn't believe that the country wasn't ready to vote in a woman. I think that was the real kind of thing. I was already surprised that they voted in Barack Obama. I didn't think I'd see that in my lifetime. And then it was just amazing the like stuff they had to come up with to not vote for somebody, emails or something, just stuff. You're just like, seriously,
yeah,
so
a lot of it seems like a distraction from any true debates about merits of whether someone should be, in the highest office in the
yeah.
land.
So it was, and the whole song was, the line was "Your time will come." That's kind of this, and then I kind of we changed that just after Vice President Kamala Harris was sworn in. I was like, I didn't like how that line landed. Like, "Your time will come." It's like, hey, your time's gonna come. You can wait. It's cool.
Mm.
Cool. And I didn't like how that kind of landed. So we went with "Your time has come" as the final line of the song, right literally before we finished mixing it. Because the whole point wasn't "Your time is gonna come. Don't You can wait a little longer." The time was like, it's gonna come. And I was trying to figure out how to make that land lyrically and in the song. And when you saw, the first woman sworn in, as the vice president, I thought that was, really cool for my daughter to see, really cool for every person to see, honestly. It didn't matter who you are.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. And I think that was like a big thing. And I wanted to kind of get across in the song is that, your time has come. It's happening.
Mm.
And, so that was a big thing. The song wise, like, actual music wise, like I said, the Sunder with our song at 5/4. Another song that popped up in my head was another local band, Dismemberment Plan. And I think you and I went to go see them at a church, and we walked out.
Yeah, that was Hugh and your Farrakhan on that bill.
Farrakhan was on that bill.
Yeah.
And it was a great show. It was amazing. But I remember you and I walked out and said, "Oh man, D Plan just made keyboards cool again." Like,
yeah.
It was like, cool to see them, just add these synths, and it was like people were dancing at a punk rock show. I was like, what's happening? It was
keys were an instrument after that show.
It was so cool. So I remember we went and like bought a keyboard in our like in a garage sale and stuff. But that was kind of the direction I gave our keyboardist. And I said, I think something 80s kind of synthy. I want it to be different. And when she came back, there is like literally the first chord, and we kind of messed around. It doesn't sound exactly like it, but it sounded like Spider in the Snow, literally from. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So that was an influence, and I really wanted that kind of dancey, fun synth sound, 80s sound. So that was one, and then the whole chorus revolves around the song "This Little Light of Mine." I'm gonna let it shine.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of like shine your light is basically what I'm saying. Is like be who you're going to be, shine your light, and your time will come. Your time has come at the end. So that was kind of the whole where I got that that part. So it came from that. And then also, like I said, I was writing it. It was kind of like a rainy day with the sun trying to peek out, and then it was like shine a light, which is like kind of a theme a lot of people use in a million songs. But I thought I remember writing. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like it's the same thing I've heard like from a bunch of different bands, but I kind of liked it, so I kept it in. So that's kind of
sounds cool.
Yes, that's kind of some of the influences on the lyrics and stuff. So, and some of the songs that kind of were instrumental in kind of getting the whole thing together. So that's great, man. So, like I said, it's been a pleasure talking about
this has been fun.
Songs. Yeah, I mean,
well, this is kind of an extension of our other Google, our get together when we discussed like our top 10 songs.
That's so true. Yes, we have the same group I give these annual gifts to with artists. We do a Zoom during the pandemic. We haven't been able to hang out, so we've done this Zoom hangout where we pick artists and pick our top 10 songs, and that's been epic 2 or 3 hour discussions on bands, which has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, it really has.
So this is like an extension. I kind of, like I said, the idea on this one was trying to get artists to be able to like say a little bit about the song, you know. And so like I said, thanks a lot. This has been the second episode of Both Sides Now. We'll be back next month with another new song by the NRIs and another new artist to talk about their new song. Please check out YouTube, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I think the actual channel and the song of these episodes are on our Red Staple Records website. Please check that out. Next to Finley, Pluto's Not a Planet. See you soon.
Thank you very much.